Hello students, this is Professor Faiz Raut from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. In first 4 units we did about microeconomics as a part of managerial economics. In the 5th and the 6th module, or the 5th and the 6th unit, we are going to study about macroeconomics, the business environment, the industrial policy of India after 1991, what changed, how India started its progress, how India opened its economy, and then also regarding how to calculate the national income, what is GDP and GNP, what are the measurements of that, okay, in this model at least. And then, well, that's it. Okay, let's begin with this. In this there is actually a URL, YouTube URL is there. You can go through to have a clear understanding, much more clear understanding regarding this module. Okay, this is not my video, it's a URL which I had referred while making this notes. Okay, so we'll begin with this, the business environment. Okay, first of all, what is a business environment? It is something that every individual interacts in some way. Okay, so we have influence of that environment, in turn we are influenced by it, regardless of age, gender, ethnicity or any other factor. Okay, and business entities are influenced by and may influence the environment also. Okay, so you can go through it. And what is a business? Okay, you can go through it. What is the nature of the business? Again, it is a purpose, important institution in the society. It is for the supply of goods and services, for creation of job opportunities, for better quality of life. Okay, contribution to the economic growth of the country. Okay, basically they are divided into two types: industry and commerce. Okay, there is a 6-page explanation about the entire diagram, but I'll be sticking on to this diagram and explaining all those. I'll not go through the notes each by paragraph. Okay, so business activities divided into industry and in commerce. In industry, the thing which are being produced, manufactured, developed, that will come under industry. Okay, and in commerce, the helping part to the industry, which is about banking, finance, transportation, etc., all the things which are very important, and it goes to help the industry in order to make run the business efficiently, that comes under commerce. Okay, so if I divide it further again, industry is divided into 3 main subtypes, which is primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay, so primary is the industries or the business activities which come under primary industry, which are being extracted from the earth, which are being used by the from the natural resources directly. Okay, that's the reason it is divided into 2 types: extractive and genetic industry. Extractive industries are those which are extracting some raw materials, extracting ores, okay, from the earth. Okay, from the earth's surface, whatever minerals are there, the iron ore, bauxite and whatever ore is there, from which the industry will manufacture something, that extraction will come under extractive industries under primary. Whereas the second one, genetic industries is basically usage of animals, plants, fishes basically. Okay, so if maybe there is a company which is into milk production. Okay, milk, they are using cows and buffaloes for milk. And then there might be a company where they are culturing fishes, okay, any aquatic animals. Okay, and there might be a company which is into greenhouse. Okay, they are maintaining that using any kind of animals, fish, anything, where we are extracting something from them, then that comes under genetic industry under primary. So extractive is extracting the ore, iron ores. Genetic is using the animals. Second, and that was there in the primary. In the industry, in secondary industry, they are again further divided into manufacturing and construction. So manufacturing, we are using the byproduct the products basically of the primary industry, and then we are starting to manufacture it into a product which can be used by the people. So manufacturing industries is manufacturing of all the items, all the necessity things. Okay, so manufacturing industry will involve that. Construction industry will involve into construction of things, construction of roads, bridges, railways, construction of houses, construction of buildings. So construction industry will be a part of the secondary industry, where the many parts in the construction industry, the raw material will be from the primary industry itself. Then the tertiary or service industry will consist of the kind of activity which is not directly involved or directly involved in the primary and secondary, but they are again kind of a help, or again kind of a additional services, which additional support which has been provided to the primary and secondary. Those kind of services or those kind of industry will fall under tertiary services. And the business activities, the second part is about commerce. Commerce is divided into trade and auxiliaries to trade. Trade is basically buying and selling of the items. Okay, they are not producing anything. Production and construction, manufacturing is done in the industry part of the business activity. In trade, they are only buying and selling. So buying and selling will happen in home or in foreign. So in home, if it is happening in the kinds of wholesale and retail, so buying and selling in a wholesale wholesale shop, wholesale area, or retail shop, or online retail, or anywhere, when the buying and selling is happening inside the country, inside the boundaries of the country, then it is a home trade. And if the buying and selling is happening outside our country, outside, if two countries are involved, then there is a foreign trade. Okay, if more than one if within the country the trade is happening, then it is a home trade. When one or more than one country is involved in the trade, then it is a foreign trade, which is again divided into three: import, export, and entry port. Import is the thing, is a concept where one country buys thing from another country. It is importing the articles, and in return they are paying the money in that foreign exchange, and using the foreign exchange of the present country. And then export is the concept where the home country is selling something to another country. It is exporting something to another country in return of the foreign exchange. Entry port is the concept where one country which is importing as well as exporting the same thing. So at one point the import is happening from one country to this country, and then the same thing will be exported to another country. Same thing or some modified thing will be exported to another country, mostly not modified, but mostly the same thing. For example, something is coming from Malaysia to India, then that is an import. The Indian person is buying that thing from Malaysia, and that same thing, that Indian person is selling it to the Jebel Ali port, okay, the Dubai. Okay, so that same thing which has been imported from Malaysia, it has been exported to Dubai. So that is called as an entry port trade. Okay, then the final part is auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries to trade have transport, communication, warehousing, insurance, banking and finance services, advertising. So all the things which are important, but they are not part of the trade. Okay, they are the auxiliaries to trade. We need to do advertisement. Advertisement is there for trading, for secondary industries, for each and everything. Okay, banking and financial services is required for everything. Okay, you need to keep the accounts, you need to follow the accounting procedures. Then it comes legal also comes under this actually. Then insurance services, you need to provide insurance for your goods when they are getting transported. Insurance to the workers in the extractive industry, insurance to the animals. Okay, so insurance to each and everything is required. Okay, then warehousing is again you're storing the items. It should be properly stored, they should not be damaged, they should not be rotten. Okay, whatever it is. So warehousing plays a important role in storing the materials. Then communication, where the and transport, we need to ship the articles, when we need to ship the articles, where we need to store the articles, what is there. So communication, transport, warehousing, all goes in one hand, and all are important. Okay, so this is what is there explained in the theory. Primary industries using natural resources. So extractive industries, agriculture is one of the type of extracting industries. The minerals, iron ore, coal, limestone, gold, silver, everything is part of extractive industries. Then goes the genetic industries. In this, nurseries, plants, animal husbandry, poultry farming, pisciculture, dairy farming. Okay, farms where we are growing apple, cherries, grapes, etc. So that is a part of genetic industries. And then comes the secondary industries, the second part of the industry. Secondary industries is the manufacturing of cotton, textiles, cloth, agricultural, again iron and steel industry. Steel is manufactured using iron ore, which is extracted from mines. So secondary industries, primary industry can be a part of a extraction of raw material. Okay, so there goes the different types of secondary industries, where first is the manufacturing industries. Manufacturing may be analytical industries are there, where oil, diesel, kerosene, that has been done, that single material into split into different elements. Then that is analytical industries. The processing industries is they are processing something. So cotton is being extracted from the plants, and then that cotton goes into the mill. Okay, then it is spinning is done, weaving is done, dyeing is done, bleaching is done, printing is done, and then it is finally converted into cloth. So that is being processed. Simple cotton is being processed to a fine cloth. That is done under processing industries. Then synthetic industries, they are mixed to produce more useful product. Okay, so raw materials will be there. Okay, then just for example, manufacturing of cement. For manufacturing of cement, there are so many raw materials which will be brought together, processed, and then one product, which is cement, which will be synthesized from those products. Okay, then assembling industries are those industries where there are many things which have been already manufactured, and now they are going to put all those things together, and in order to make a instrument, in order to make a item. Okay, so television, computer, car, scooter, etc. Are the examples of assembling industry. They are not producing each and every article, but they'll be outsourcing that production to someone else, and then after production they'll be taking all the parts and assembling all the parts to make item. Okay, then there is construction industries, which is the construction of roads, railways, highways, bridges, dams, railway, etc. So raw material is from the manufacturing industries and extractive industries, and then they'll be making starting the construction of and forming the construction industry. And the final thing is about the tertiary industries. Tertiary industries again includes all the services which has been provided in order to help the manufacturing, the construction, the extractive, and the genetic industries. So basically primary and secondary industries are helped by the services from the tertiary industries, and India has the maximum GDP when services are concerned. Okay, more than 50% of the GDP contribution is through the services industry for India, because India lacks in manufacturing and construction, and definitely in extractive and some part of genetic industries also, but the services plays a very important role in contribution of the GDP of India. Then the commerce, trade and auxiliaries to trade. Okay, in commerce again the helping hand for the industry. Okay, not just the helping hand, but they form a very important part of the business environment. Okay, the trade and then auxiliaries to trade. In trade, it refers to buying goods from manufacturer and selling these to consumers. So trade is you are not manufacturing something, but you are buying it from the manufacturer and then selling it to the consumers who are in need. So you are bridging the gap of manufactured item, the person who is searching to sell those products to the customers, and the customers who are searching the product which has been manufactured by the manufacturer. So you are bridging the gap, you are making the flow of goods very easy to the customers. Okay, so the trade is basically of two types: home trade or domestic trade, or internal trade, which will be happening within the country, And then the second is foreign trade or international trade or external trade, which will be happening between two countries or more than two countries. So home trade is on the basis of the scale of operation. Home trade may be wholesale trade or retail trade. The wholesale buys the goods in large quantities from the manufacturer and sell them into small quantities to the retailers. The retailer ultimately sells these goods bought from the wholesaler in very small quantities to the final consumer. So in the both the type of trade, wholesale and retail, there is a channel which is developed in order to serve the customer and make the customer get the product easily and at a um, easier rate, at a reasonable rate, and whatever you can tell it. Okay, then the second one is about the foreign trade. Foreign trade is again divided into three types. Export trade, which is exporting to the foreign countries, selling it to the foreign countries. Import trade applies to the purchase of the goods from the foreign countries. If I take the example, India exports tea to UK and imports petrol from Iran. Okay, and entreport is again it is a re-export trade. As I've explained, entreport trade, a country imports large quantities of good and re-exports them to the neighboring countries. Okay, then auxiliaries to trade, they are the most important helping hand. Okay, transportation, okay, communication, warehousing, you are storing the items, insurance to avoid the risk of loss of the goods by any untoward incident. Okay, you take insurance. Banking and financial services, to maintain the finance, to get the money in order to do the business. That is a important thing. If money is not there, you cannot do business. Okay, without any adequate finance, it is not possible to do the business at all. So that plays an important role, how to source the finance. And then the advertising. After all that is done, if your product is not sold in the market, then it is a very a dire situation for a business that may lead to a closure of the business as well. So advertising plays an important role to make aware people of your product availability in the market. Then interrelationship among industry, commerce and trade. There is a huge interrelationship. Everything goes hand in hand. In industry, you're producing. In trade, you're trying to sell. In commerce, you're helping the industry in order to sell that items. Okay, you might be very good in one of the thing, but if you're not good in any other thing, then your business will not run smoothly. So in business environment, all these three are interrelated and are important, cannot be overlooked. Okay, and there is a huge interrelationship. So for a business environment to grow and a business to develop, the industry, the product should be good, the quality of the product should be maintained, the production should be happening at time. Whatever needs to be produced, how much it needs to be produced, that is to be analyzed and dealt in detail in industry part. Then the commerce part, the how the product has been manufactured, how much what is the cost of the product, what is the price of the product needs to be kept, what from where the sources of finance is coming, whether our product is made available into the minds of the customer. First of all, what is the perception of the customer into what is the perception of the customer for our product, what is the level of awareness which has been created in the minds, what are the different kinds of supply chain activities which we are doing, that all part come under the commerce field. And then the trade, how we are going to where we are going to ship our product, where are our customers, whether our product is reaching the customers on time, on demand. Okay, so that comes the part of the trade. Okay, so there is a huge interrelationship. You can go through this, this is the part of interrelationship between all the things. Okay, then I come to the types of environment, which is internal and external environment. Internal environment is all about when your company is connected to certain people, so those everyone will be a part of internal environment. External environment mein there is a micro environment. Okay, your company is connected to the people who are outside. Then macro environment, where your company doesn't matter, but your company is part of a certain environment which is a part of broader environment. Okay, so I'll you might not understand all these things but I'll just go through this so you might get a idea. So internal environment is the within the company. Okay, Okay, what are the strengths of the company, weaknesses of the company, weakness of the organization, strengths of the organization, all those comes under internal environment. Your vision, mission, objectives, corporate culture, human resource, labor unions, how your employees are working, how your employees are functioning, how your laborers are happy, they are not happy, they are facing some difficulty, they want some benefits, they want um, some holidays or anything related to that, internally within your company will be part of internal environment. Okay, then the external environment, as I was mentioning about, it has been divided into micro environment and macro environment. Micro environment में the people who are connected to your company, just for example suppliers of the inputs, which has been given to your company in order to manufacture a product. So the suppliers who are sending the raw materials, suppliers who are sending the other kind of inputs to your company are the part of the microeconomic environment of your company. Okay, so they are directly linked to you. The customers who are buying your products are directly linked to you. Okay, they are actually your revenue generator. And then the market intermediaries who are helping your product in order to trade and reach the customers. So intermediaries who are stocking your product, who are transporting your product, who are selling your product. Okay, then the competitors. So the competitors will be determining what the next, basically. So you will be always checking with the competitors what they are doing, how we should do the changes in the product, or do the changes in the marketing, do the changes in whatever the competitor is doing in order to compete with them. Okay, so competitors play, again, they are connected to whatever decision making is there in in our company. Okay, and then the public are getting affected because our product is there in the market. If something happens to our product, then it is okay, public, if something happens to the public, basically, who is using our product, then it is a they are basically related to us. Okay. Okay. Okay, so anything which happens with a product, then yeah. And then the second part of the environment is macro environment. Again, very important: political, economical, social, technological, ecological, and legal environment. So in this case, this is also called as pestle analysis, the first letter of all the things, PESTEL. Okay, or it can also be called as PEST in some situations. So pest analysis or pestle analysis is a important part of business environment or external environment. In this, your company is not directly related to all this environment, but it is a part of this environment. So your company will be getting affected if anything is happening in this. Okay, so pestle analysis, the first one is about political factors. So political factors which is happening throughout that region, throughout that country, will definitely affect your business. If any, for example, in the countries where the Arab Spring was there, where in Syria and Libya there was attacks, and so companies started running from there. Recent example was there with the war of Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. Okay, so when many companies who were boycotting Russia, they were already there in Russia, they started leaving Russia. For example, McDonald's closed its stores in Russia. So the employees of the company, how they got affected because of that political turmoil, because of that war situation. And so if your company is there, how you will come, how you will definitely be affected. Even if your suppliers, customers, everyone is very good, but the political situation is not good in the country, then definitely that will affect your company as well. So political factors plays an important role of the macroeconomic factor. And then comes the economic factors. Okay, economic factors is just about whether what is the economic condition of the country, the people are well, whether they will be able to buy your product, what is the GDP, what is the inflation, what is the unemployment rate. So depending upon that, your products and services will be in line with that with that situation. For example, India is the second largest populated country in the world, and the second largest market in the world to for many companies. So that's the reason many companies want to try and enter into India. But that's what even Tesla tried to enter into India, but now Tesla is planning to go to Indonesia after the failure in China. So Tesla wanted to try into India, but there are some taxation issues, and something happened. Okay, I can go and study about the why Tesla is not planning to enter into India. Okay, so it is reluctant to come into India, and it is planning to shift to Indonesia. So why is that? You can go through that. So there are some political factors. There are also some economic factors which determines a company's environment. Okay, and again, some social factors. Social factor is about I've given an example which was directly told to me by a McDonald person, so that's the reason I have included this example. Social factors is what is the social and cultural environment of that country. Okay, so India is primarily a vegetarian country, somewhere around 75 to 80% as per the records. Somewhere around that, people are vegetarian in India. So that's the reason the famous hamburger of McDonald's was never launched in India, and instead McDonald's launched aloo tikki burger, so to cater to the vegetarian requirement of the Indians. So, and that is the most sold burger in India, like aloo tikki burger, and it is also very low price. And also for a higher price, it was Maharaja Mac. Okay, that was developed. So social factors plays that kind of a role. If the country is accepting some things, it is not accepting some things. Okay, just for example, as India is a vegetarian country, there are very less storage, cold storage facilities which can store the non-veg items. So many meat companies have not entered into India because there is low cold storage facilities is not there. Okay, that again is a part of social factors also, and part of technological factors also. Okay, so what is the lifestyle demography of the country? What is the culture, education of that country? So everything will be depending upon those. So many examples I can remember, but okay, so I'll move on. Okay, technological factors. So technological factors, again, if you are a company which is a software company which is launching into one country, the adoption of electricity first of all should be there. Okay, then the adoption of computer should be there, and the education level and the technology which will be provided should be properly there. If you are a software company and you are launching your company, you are setting up your company in that country. Okay, so India a few decades back was not ready to adopt computers because India is a labor intensive economy. So if computers start coming in, there will be a loss of job. That was the thought, but somehow computer made its way in India, and that now computer, because of computer, that is the there is more employment. Computer has not reduced the what do you say reduce the employment. It has rather increased the employment, and people have found themselves more using softwares, and went outside the countries to find the jobs in software as well. Okay, but technology plays a kind of a role. Now there are talks like we can use drones to water the plant in agricultural fields. Okay, in order to check what is happening in the agricultural fields. Maybe a scarecrow can take can lose its job. Okay, a scarecrow लगाने से बेहतर है कि we can use drones in order to check the what do you say fly away the birds which are coming, fly away the insects which are coming. So yeah, that can be done. Okay, so technological factors. Then the ecological or demographic environment. In this again, what is the demography of the country, what is the ecological environment, how the natural resources are there, if I set up a company, will they get affected, what is the condition of the soil, what is the condition of the availability of water, what is the condition of the heat, the temperature, what is happening. Okay, because India is a country where it gets direct sunlight throughout the day, throughout the daytime you get sunlight, maybe more than around 10 hours a day you get sunlight. So because that kind of weather condition, whether is suited for some kind of business, not suited for some kind of business. So this demographic or ecological will play an important role. For example, solar panels can be installed anywhere in India, and they can use to generate electricity or any other power. Okay, because as you will be getting 8 to 10 hours of sunlight, that solar cells will be mostly recharged in every now and then, so you can take help of that. Okay, so that is about demographic, and then the last part is about legal environment. If for any country's legal system is somewhat different from the other countries. So if you want to set up a company, there are some permissions need to be taken. There are you need to register your company under some act. Okay, and then you need to follow the legal procedures. There will be a certain kind of financials needs to be maintained, and then there will be certain kind of payment, the workers need to be maintained. So there will be many legal factors in which you need to comply with that country's standard. Okay, so legal environment again will play a role. If you are not able to meet the legal standards, you might be able to lose the market and go out of that country with your business. Okay, then it is about the World Trade Organization. It is basically, it was established in 1995. Okay, as a result of GATT in the post-war era. Okay, so World Trade Organization, just like other organizations are there under United Nations. So World Trade Organization was developed in order to facilitate the trade in between countries, and if there is any if any problem is arising between the countries, then those problems can be solved by these organizations. Any disputes, any negotiation, anything happening which is preventing the trade between those two countries, increasing the tension between those two countries, that can be resolved. So there are some key activities which has been mentioned, okay, of WTO, and there are some advantages definitely, and there are again definitely some disadvantages of there. Okay, of those you can go through that. Then open and closed economy. Open and closed economy is what open economy is when the that country is open to trade, open to any exchange, any talks between other countries with other countries. Okay, if they can buy easily from another country, the citizens of the country basically can go outside, earn money, get the money here. The citizen of other countries can come in this country and can work in this country. The products are being bought and sold by the citizens of the countries. Okay, so the amount of openness of this country to the other countries will be a part of open economy. Okay, if that country is not reluctant, and if there is neither exports of goods and services, nor they can buy or borrow, the normal residents cannot go to other countries in order to work or earn money and get the money to the home country, then that is a part of a closed economy. Okay, so closed economy is what is, then open economies. Okay, so you can go through these explanations. And then the three sectors of Indian economy is primary sector, the business environment which we discussed in the beginning of the unit. It is similar to this. So primary sector is agricultural and allied sector of Indian economy. So the agricultural activities or the allied activities like animal husbandry and related to that milk production or silk farming or fish farming. So all these activities are part of allied activities. Okay, so fishing and uh, silkworm farming and all those things will be part of allied activities. So primary sector consists of these two of Indian economy. Okay, then the secondary sector consists of manufacturing sector, so factories which manufactures the articles that will come under this. In the tertiary sector, it will include again tourism, banking, entertainment, etc. The services sector basically. So as I was mentioning, services sector plays actually contributes much more to the Indian economy than including primary and secondary combined. Okay, so there is again SWOT analysis of Indian economy is given there. I have listed down what is the SWOT and the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities and threats of Indian economy. You can go through this. And one more I have again SWOT analysis I have given in the terms of what is the major strength of India. Okay, like solar power, renewable energy, because you have a good solar as you have bright sunlight, okay, bright sun rays coming directly to the Indian land. You can have a good solar power, you can have renewable energy, you can use tidal wave wind energy. Okay, so that is also a great opportunity, actually a great strength of India. Okay, and weakness is the country is stricken by poverty. So India has second largest poor people in the world. Okay, the first comes Nigeria. It was just a few years back, India was the first, and then now it has become second. So the poor people in India are very large. They need to be taken care of because it will be a holistic development. If you want to develop any country, it will be a holistic development. Every people should be at least raised to one level, not to same level, but at least by one level they should be increased. Okay, because poverty will bring pull back India, pull back the development which is happening in India. So poverty needs to be taken care of. Okay, okay, there is a yeah, there are some links I have provided in the notes. You can just have a again a video or something like that. Okay, opportunities. India investments are needed for 69 Indian cities. There are cities in India which have the potential to grow, but the investments have not done in those cities. So there are opportunities. If investments are done, those cities can grow. Okay, so that is the opportunity which India has. So a huge explanation I have given. Okay, then the threats: hypertension affecting 40% of Indian youth. Okay, so as technology is improving, the hypertension, loss of sleep, okay, work pressure, everything is leading to the health. It is affecting the health basically of the Indian youth and the senior citizens of India. It is affecting, and the improper diet and not maintaining the health, okay, not exercising properly. So everything is affecting the health of the Indian youth, and they are suffering from various kind of diseases. The major disease is about hypertension. Okay, so that is a great threat for the Indian economy, which should be again taken care of. Then the business cycles. This is quite interesting. Okay, I guess if I find a video, I'll share it with you. Okay, I had developed. So business cycle is phases of business cycle. There, business cycle is just the fluctuations of the economy. Okay, the economy will go to peak. It will go in the downward movement. Then it will reach at the bottom. Then it starts moving in the upward movement. Okay, then it will reach peak and then it will come downward. So there are fluctuations which is happening in the businesses is called as the business cycle. So there are phases in which expansion and peak of economic activities, recession, the downward trend, the trough, the bottom of depression, and then the recovery and expansion. So these are the 5 phases of a business cycle. If you want to see the diagram, this is how it looks like. This is the line. Okay, this is the growth rate. Okay, at this phase the economy is growing, but the economy is not growing linearly. It is growing it is actually fluctuating. Okay, the business also goes like this. So there is a phase called an expansion phase, which is goes up, reaches peak, and then there is a small recession here. So this phase, which is above the line, that is the prosperity phase, and then comes after recession the depression phase, the trough which we are seeing here. Okay, in this there is a depression. The business is trying to recover in this phase, and then the recovery phase starts when there is an upward movement till the growth rate, and then after the growth rate again the expansion will happen, and then the prosperity phase will begin. So this is how every time the ups and downs of fluctuation will happen in the economy as well, and in the business cycle as well. Okay, so there is an explanation: what is expansion, what is peak, then what is turning point and recession, and then depression and trough, and then the phase of recovery. Okay, so there is explanation regarding to that. Okay, so next part is about national income. National income is the sum of money which the country is generating. Okay, so that is a part of national income. So there is a concept called as gross national product. So a gross national product is it is very common and used. Many people might be knowing it, but not the meaning. At least they know the what does GNP stands for, which is the gross national product. Okay, it is basically the goods and services which are being produced in 1 year, okay, within the boundaries of that country, plus whatever the people in that country who have gone to foreign lands and they are earning money and sending that money into our country, that will be added into GNP, and then minus whatever the foreigners who are there in our country are earning and sending that money to their home country. So that if I do, then I'll get the proper income which is being generated by the country. So that is actually the gross national product. Okay, the goods and services which are produced in the country, plus the income or the money which is coming from the other countries by the Indians, by the home country people, minus the money which is being earned by the foreigners in the home country, and that's it. So that is GNP. Okay, so gross development product, GDP, domestic product, GDP. It is the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the domestic economy during a period of 1 year, plus income earned by the foreigners, plus income earned locally by the foreigners, minus the income earned abroad by the nationals. Okay, so that is just the opposite of gross national income, GDP. GDP is whatever the domestically, whatever the income is being generated, that is being considered. Okay, and whatever income is generated from the nationals living outside the country, that will be removed. Okay, so the concept of GDP is similar to that of GNP, with a significant procedural difference. In case of GNP, incomes earned by the nationals in the foreign countries are added, and incomes earned by the locally by the foreigners are deducted from the market value of domestically produced goods and services. But in the case of GDP, the process is reversed. Okay, income earned by foreigners will be added, and income earned by the Indian nationals abroad are deducted from the total value domestically produced goods. Okay, so this is how it is a representation. But the net national product is just the depreciation will be removed from the GNP, so we'll get the net national product as well. So how to measure that measurement of national income? There are three types: net product method, factor income method, and expenditure method. So when the entire national economy is considered as an aggregate of producing units, okay, so whatever units is being produced within 1 year in that region, that that in that type it is called as the net product method. Factor income method, okay, I'll just go through this. Net product or value added method also it is called. It is estimating the gross value of domestic output, okay, and cost of materials, determining and deducting these costs and depreciation from the gross value. So I'm getting the net product, and from that I can determine what is the national income as well. Okay, so measuring gross value, what is the gross value of all the things which is being produced in domestically. Then what is the determining the cost, so what is the cost which is involved into that production, and then we are deducting it and finding out the net value of domestic output. Then the second is about factor income method. Factor income method is where different kinds of factors which are involved in the national income. For example, rent, wages, interest, profits, every factor which has been involved, okay, so that will be considered and added into national income. Okay, so there are divided into three types: labor income, capital income, and mixed income. So whatever wages and salaries are paid to the residents of the country, including bonus, commission, everything, so that will be part of the labor income. Then the capital income, whatever the capital which has been generated in terms of dividends, in terms of profits, interests, any rents, royalties, profits to the government enterprises, all those things, it will be a part of capital income. And then the mixed income is the mixture of the both things: the farming enterprises, the sole proprietorship, other professionals which they are generating income. Okay, so that is a part of mixed income. Okay, the third type is about expenditure method. So expenditure method is the expenditure which has been done in order to grow the economy, the money which has been spent by the government, by the private people, in terms of growing the economy, that will be considered in expenditure method. Okay, then the final thing in this chapter is about components of GDP. The private consumption expenditure, there are basically these major components: private consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government purchase of goods and services, and net exports, that is exports minus imports. So private consumption expenditure, which is represented as a C, it is the consumption which has been done, so purchased by households, non-profit institutions for current use during a period of account. Okay, so for 1 year, whatever the consumption is there by the people, by the households, by the companies, that will come under this. Then the investment expenditure, it is about what investments the company is doing. Okay, so investment include building of machinery, housing, construction of factories, offices, addition to a firm's inventories and goods. So that all will come under an investment expenditure, and that will we will deduct it through deduct depreciation from that. Okay, investment can be categorized into these four types: business investment, inventory investment, residential or construction investment, and public investment, by definitely by the government. Okay, then the last third one in this is government purchase of goods and services. The goods and services which has been purchased by the government, the salaries and the wages paid by the government, so whatever the purchases or the spending of the government will be there, will come under this third one. Then the final one is about the net exports, and net exports will be the total exports which the country is exporting minus the goods and services which the company is importing. So that is the net exports. If our exports is high, net exports will be positive. If our imports are high, then the net exports will be negative. So that will reduce the GDP of the country if our imports are getting higher. Okay, yeah. So this is what the formula goes. GDP is the sum of the consumption and the investments and the government expenditure and the net exports. Okay, symbolically the GDP will be represented by this. Okay, so these are the few very important questions which I have given for this module. You can don't miss this. Only 6 questions are there. You can just go through it. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for listening.